Hi guys, welcome back to Faster Podcast Season 2 Episode 2. Today we're talking about F1's 2021 Bahrain Grand Prix, the first Grand Prix of 2021. So everything new drivers with new teams, some drivers moving from a team to another team, like Vettel moving from Ferrari to Aston Martin. Other drivers are coming from F2 to join F1, like Mick Schumacher, Nikita Mazzapin, and Yuki Tsunoda. So for this driver who are coming from Formula 1, it's a completely new world. And also for all the drivers who are switching from a team to another, it's a completely new world, completely new team, new car, new engineers, everything to understand. And it's like starting from zero one more time. Also in 2021, we got some rule changing. Made to introduce, we could say, introduce 2022's F1 new aerodynamic rules. So what's changed from 2020? The floor have to be much clean, we could say, have to be much more cleaner. No wings on the floor. Also, the car has changed a little bit, but nothing too much. It's almost the same of last year, and many teams haven't upgraded their cars so much from 2020, because they're going to give everything on 2022 season. That I think is going to be a quite important season. We're going to see a lot of rule changing. Is going to change entirely the car, tires, floor, wings, and I'm so curious to see what teams are able to do. So let's start with the race. Bahrain has been a night race, so we were racing in the night with no natural light but with artificial light. And also temperatures are quite hot because we're in the desert, so maybe in that hours it's still not so cold, but it's still quite hot that you could race and keep your tires in temperature. Also while you're going through the race, temperature is slowly going down, so it helps you to preserve tires for the last stint. So we got, as always, Mercedes and Red Bull, as always, as 2020 Mercedes and Red Bull for the race win. Hamilton and Verstappen, first Hamilton, second Verstappen, third Bottas. I think, as always, the entire 2020 has been Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas, Verstappen, Hamilton, Verstappen, Hamilton, Bottas, those three were the three that were fighting for the championship. Hamilton and Verstappen, I think, overall. So let's start from Mercedes, because Mercedes did quite a strange race, discreet race, but nothing too exciting. If I have to give a mark to Mercedes, I'm going to give an 8 out of 10, 8. Because, yeah, they did what they had to do, a win and a third place, first and third, but they didn't completely dominated that race as maybe me was expecting. So Hamilton did a very good race, started in second place, and then since the first pit stop, he just controlled the race. He was in first place. Verstappen was recovering a lot of time. Then in the last few laps, them two have been fighting, Hamilton and Verstappen overtook Hamilton. Then Hamilton win the race by Verstappen giving him back the position. So Hamilton, I think a 9 out of 10, because he won the race, so he did what he had to do, but it wasn't a completely dominating race by him. Bottas, an anonymous race, at the start of the race he was just behind Hamilton and Verstappen. Then from the first pit stop, he just completely lost himself. He tried to keep their pace, but he just wasn't able, so he just stayed in third place and made a quite anonymous race. But if I have to give him a mark, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Also, he finished in third place, so he did what he had to do in a not exciting way, but he did what he had to do. Then we got the Red Bulls. I'm going to give Red Bulls a 10. A 10 because Red Bull's race was just a crazy race, but not only the race, the entire weekend with Verstappen staying completely dominating every single practice, qualifying, and he should have won the race, but he had to lose the position because he overtook Hamilton by going wide at turn 4, while Hamilton made the entire race going wide. I just don't know why he had to give him back the position and lose that win, but it was a team order to not take a penalty, but so he just did it. Hamilton did it like 1,000 of times, and it was just unfair what have been done from Mercedes to Red Bull. So Verstappen, I'm going to give him a 10. He didn't win the race, but he completely dominated the entire the entire weekend. So he deserves a 10. Because he was actually winning that race. Only he had to give back the position, but he actually won that race. Yeah, he won that race. If he hadn't to give him back the position, he would have won that race. So by my point of view, Verstappen won that race. Then we got Perez. I'm going to give Perez a 9. Why? Because he didn't do a quite good qualifying. He even didn't made it through Q3. During the formation lap, his car just completely shut it down, and he was stuck in the penultimate straight. Then he has been able to return on the car, go to the pit lane and start the race from the pit lane. Then safety car helped him to close the entire gap from the entire field, from all the other drivers. So he had been able to do a great recovery. Yeah, he could have not done the last pit stop because he was running fourth with like 3 seconds of gap from Norris in fifth. By looking at his pace, he would have finished in fourth position in front of Norris. But the Red Bull decided to make him pit one more time. Then he restarted in 9th place, recovered again one more time, and then finished the race in 5th place. Anyway, so good by starting from the pit lane. So good. Then we got Ferraris. I'm going to give Ferrari 7, maybe. Yeah, 7. Because Leclerc did quite a good race. The first laps were just crazy. He was running P3 in front of Bottas. Then the car is much faster from last year's car, but isn't still this fast to be competitive in every race to fight for a podium. So he started in a very amazing way, taking third position, and then he slowly went back in 6th position, to end the race in 6th position. But yeah, quite good race. Sainz, I'm going to give him a 7. Quite good debut with Ferrari. Ended up in 8th position. Good fights. He didn't start the race in the same amazing way of Leclerc, but he had a quite good pace. So he had been able to give us a little of emotions. He made a bit of fight for the position with Stroll, with Alonso, that have been amazing. A very, very good fight, and I really appreciated that. Then we got McLaren. I'm going to give McLaren a 7.5, because Ricciardo did also him a good debut for McLaren, and ended up in 7th position in front of Sainz. Him had a good start, but then lost a bit of pace. Then we got Norris. I have nothing to say. He did just an amazing race, and he claimed P4. It was just wow, he had a very very strong pace. After a few laps, he was just running alone. He had Bottas, who was very far in front, and Leclerc, who was a bit far behind. So yeah, very good race by Norris. I wish we'd see some races like that. I give him a good 8. Then we got Alpine. Alpine isn't good at all. Did a quite bad race. I'm going to give a 5 to Alpine. The weekend was quite bad, I have to say. Overall, by looking from what Renault was doing at the second half of 2020, I was expecting much more from Alpine. So I wish during the season they'll be able to recover the time lost during the winter and give us some good fights for the podium, maybe like last year. So we got Alonso, who I completely have nothing to say. He went back in F1 after 2 years of stop. That wasn't a stop at all, because meanwhile he won Le Mans, he was racing in Indy, he did a lot of things. And yeah, he went back in F1 with Alpine. I know that he wants to win, he is very ambitious. And he did an amazing qualifying, really amazing. P7, completely destroying his teammate Ocon. Amazing Alonso. Then also was fighting with Sainz, was fighting with Stroll, and amazing overtakes. Wow, amazing race. Then he unluckily retired because he completely lost his rear brakes. He had some problems, so he retired, and yeah, he didn't finish the race, but he was doing a very good race. I'm so curious to see what he will be able to do this season. And I'm giving Alonso a 7. Good race. Then we got Ocon. Ocon, bad race. I give him a 3. Very bad race. Qualifying was really bad. A lot behind Alonso, who was coming back after 2 years of stop. So you scored a podium last year. You were challenging in some races. You were challenging Ricciardo. So you have to stay in front of Alonso, and he didn't do that. I wish it was just this weekend. It was like a negative weekend, but yeah, I wish he's going to recover. But this race, very bad. Also, the pace in the race was quite bad, horrible, we could say. Then we got Aston Martin, a 4 to Aston Martin, a 4. Stroll saved the weekend because he ended up in 10th place, fighting with Sainz, fighting with Alonso, fighting with Ricciardo. He completely didn't have the pace to fight for a good position. Wait, 10 is a good position because he's in the point zone, but looking at what Aston Martin was doing and also at what Stroll was doing in 2020, you have to do a bit better. So I give a 5 to Stroll because he have to improve. Then we got Vettel. I'm going to give a 1 out of 10. I think less than this I can't give. He wasn't Vettel. He just wasn't a 4-time world champion who won almost everything with Red Bull, who fight for the title for 2 years in a row with Ferrari, who was very strong, who was very clever, who was very clean. It just wasn't Vettel. He made so many errors in the entire weekend, starting from Saturday, when with the yellow flag he just didn't lift up. He kept going as fast as he could for the lap, and a 4-time world champion just can't do that. You know, there was Mazzapin in front of you. How can you see that? Maybe if yellow flag weren't already out, you see Mazzapin spun in the middle of the track. It's just, I don't understand why he did that. And also with Ocon in the race, he just brake in the back of Ocon, like made in Great Britain in 2019 with Verstappen. he went back in the slipstream and locked his front tires and crashed into the back of a con. One time is okay. This is already the second time in 2 years that he does that. So I don't know what Vettel had this race this weekend, but he have to come back as the Vettel who has always been. Then I want to talk about AlphaTauri, because AlphaTauri is just crazy this year. Already in 2020, shown us that was able to do quite good races, except from Monza, which was a particular case with Gasly winning the race. But AlphaTauri was able to score like a P5 finish quite easy, we could say, in some races. This season, I'm sure that is going to be a very, very strong car with two very strong drivers. So I'm giving AlphaTauri an 8 because they did a fantastic weekend. Gasly was doing an amazing qualifying, did an amazing qualifying, and started also in an amazing way. But then fighting with Norris, he just lost his front wing and went straight into the back of the field. Then he wasn't able to recover pace and to fight back for the points. Who I think, he had to make some points that race because he was just crazy and the entire weekend. He was going so good. And losing a race like that is quite a shame. But I give him a 5 because he did an amazing qualifying, but completely destroyed that during the race. But I wish and I'm sure he's going to do an amazing season this one. Then we got Tsunoda. I give Tsunoda a 9, full 9, because it was his F1 debut. He was with a completely new car, new team, and he felt like he was in F1 from maybe 3 years. He just completely felt okay, like nothing if it was. He just was sitting in the car and driving fast as possible, and he was also quite fast. So amazing race by Tsunoda, and also qualifying, because I want to remember you that in Q1 he did the second time overall, and he did that lap with mediums. So it's just quite a good driver. I'm so curious to see what he's going to do during the season, but amazing race. He didn't do a very good start, but he didn't have the experience, so I think that's okay. He just had an incredible pace. He was going so good. He recovered place over place over place, then ended up the race in 9th place, while he was fighting with Raikkonen, with Alonso, who are 20 years older than him. And it's just, wow, what this guy did. It's, wow, fantastic, nothing else to say. A good 9, a full 9 for Tsunoda. Then we got Alfa Romeo with a 7. Giovinazzi did an amazing race the first laps, because he was running P10, keeping behind Raikkonen and quite a lot of drivers. And then during the pit stop, just Alfa Romeo completely lost themselves and took a wrong tire. So they had to went back to the box, take the right tire and put it into the car. And this made him lose like 10 seconds that are really a lot. He went back from the pit stop in track and he didn't have the pace he had before. He was still recovering, like, some tenths every lap, but nothing too fast. And he anyway ended up behind Raikkonen, who ended in 11th place. Quite an anonymous race, discreet race, but okay, so good. If you keep going like that, it's okay. So 7 for both Raikkonen and Giovinazzi. Then we got Haas. I give a 4 to Haas because they completely didn't upgrade their car. I know that they're going to give everything on 2022 car, but 2021 car is exactly the same car of 2020, even slower, a bit slower. So I'm giving a 4 to the team, not to the drivers, to the race, no, to the engineers, to the team, for the bad car they got. Then we got the two rookies, Nikita Mazzapin and Mick Schumacher. Mick Schumacher, I'm giving him a 4. First race in F1 and he spun. He luckily was able to continue his race, but didn't do anything exciting like did Tsunoda. So I know that it's the car that is a very bad car comparing with Alpha Tauris. He just wasn't shining. Maybe our expectation that are so high by his last name, but but I think that with a good car he is going to be able to do very good results, because he showed it shown us in F2, in F3. He's a good driver, fast driver, strong driver, who's able to win races and even the championship. So we'll see later. Then we got Nikita Mazepin. I'm giving him a 2, because he made a lot of errors during the entire weekend, and anyway didn't do quite a good lap, and he was starting behind his teammate, behind Mick. Then his race lasted 3 corners. Then he crashed out. Maybe he had cool tires and he went a bit too fun, a bit too much on throttle. Then just lost the car and crashed out. We'll see next races what he's going to do. In F2 he was a quite stronger driver, so we'll see what he's going to do. I'm quite curious to see if he would be able to challenge Mick Schumacher for the team rivalry. Because I think that this year the Rookie of the Year is completely out of hell for Mick and Nikita Mazepin. Just to think being the Rookie of the Year is going to be crazy. Because Tsunoda got a too strong car for their cars. So they actually can't fight Tsunoda. If they would have a stronger car, yes, they would be able to fight Tsunoda. But with this car, it's just completely no. They just won't be Rookie of the Year of 2021. Then we got Williams, 5. Anonymous race, as always. Russell, 6. Did a race as all the others, ended up in 14th place. Good, he did some good fights, battles while he was lapped. Fights that he didn't had to do because he was lapped. But yeah, I think he'd been quite nervous because he's seeing rookies coming and being faster than you, just because he doesn't have a strong car to fight for the position the positions that he deserves to fight for. So yeah, it's so stressful for Russell, I think. We'll see if in 2022 he's going to be a Mercedes driver or maybe change team, or if Williams convince him to stay one more year just to try to win the championship with Williams. Then we got Latifi, 5, because he did an anonymous race, completely anonymous. So guys, these were my personal consideration and my personal marks for the teams and the drivers for the F1 2021 Bahrain Grand Prix. Thank you for having spent those minutes with me. See you next time. Bye bye. Ciao ciao.